And to finally complete the most significant news for this day, Y News continues. Here are the top stories. President Rodrigo Duterte warns business establishments along Manila Bay which do not have proper sewage treatment facilities. He also warns them of closure if they continue to dump their waste in Manila Bay. The president as well ordered Environment Secretary Roy Cimatu and Interior Secretary Eduardo Año to start the rehabilitation of the bay. He made the statement when he attended the National Capital Region Barangay Summit on Peace and Order in Pasay City tonight.
Sa mga hotel, yung palabas na yung mga ng mga turista, lagyan ninyong water treatment yung hotel nyo. Pag hindi, sirahan ko yan. Huwag mo akong hamunin. Kaya kung wala tayong turista, di wala. Hindi naman tayo mamamatay. You do something about your waste there, or otherwise I will close it.
Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte has approved the proposal to increase taxes on cigarettes and alcoholic beverages. The bill presented by the Department of Health and the Department of Finance seeks to impose a 60 peso excise tax on each pack of cigarettes and 40 pesos per each liter of liquor. According to presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo, President Duterte wants to certify the bill as urgent, which is aimed at solving the problem of high mortality rates and increasing number of Filipinos falling ill due to smoking and drinking alcohol. It also aimed at generating funds for the implementation of the Universal Health Care Program.
So the recommendation is that that bill should be passed, signed into law. That was what was approved last night.
In December 2018, the House of Representatives has approved on third and final reading the two proposals seeking to add a 2 peso and 50 centavos excise tax on cigarettes every year from July 2019 to July 2022. In other news, the Land Transportation Office assures drivers applying for licenses and permits that the problems observed in the first day of the implementation of its online submission of medical certificate policies has been addressed. According to LTO, their database of accredited clinics has already been updated to include those that were not listed on Monday. Disappointed applicants have vented out their anger on social media on Monday after learning that only a few clinics are LTO accredited and that they would have to endure the long queue of applicants just to get their medical certificate. The LTO explains they were unable to list all their accredited clinics due to delays in the submission of accreditation application. Following the database update, the LTO reported an improved transaction rate of 50 to 60% earlier from Monday's 20 to 30%.
Yun hong length of time ng processing is 8 minutes. Ngayon po na-reduce na po namin from 8 minutes to about 2 minutes na lang po. So kaya na po namin panilbihan yung lahat po ng mga nagtatransact.
House Majority Leader Rolando Andaya has threatened to sue Budget Secretary Benjamin Diokno if the Department of Budget and Management fails to implement the fourth tranche of salary hike for government workers this year. In a statement, Andaya said he will personally file the case for mandamus against Diokno in the Supreme Court if the DBM fails to push through with the pay hike after the budget official reason that salary adjustments for civilian and military personnel program for 2019 will have to wait pending approval of this year's national budget. But Malacanang was unfazed by Andaya's threat and even backed Diokno's assertion. The palace also insists that the House of Representatives is at fault for not passing the 2019 proposed national budget on time.
Obviously. In fact, he's being dared to file it. Kumbaga, do your worst and we will do our best. It's elementary. The salary level authorized in the 2018 budget covers the third tranche of SSL only. The fourth tranche is provided for in the 2019 President's budget para sa next year. So, since the 2019 budget is yet to be approved and we are operating under a reenacted budget, 2018, necessarily, logically, there is no legal basis for giving the fourth tranche. Baga common sense.
The Alliance of Concerned Teachers is considering filing charges against officials of the Philippine National Police and the Department of Interior and Local Government over the alleged profiling of its members. Among the charges that the group is planning to file before the Office of the Ombudsman are violations of the Data Privacy Act and the election law, as the supposed PNP memorandum was said to be in relation to the upcoming midterm elections.
Yung mga pulis na pumupunta sa mga eskwelahan ay may dalang mga memo, isang direktiba nga, ay kunin ang pangalan ng lahat ng mga miyembro ng ACT o ng mga naka-align o kaalyado o kahanay ng ACT. Malinaw din dun sa memo na kaugnay ang paniniktik na ito sa parating na eleksyon.
PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde has denied issuing an order to gather information about school teachers who are members of the ACT Teachers Party List, but assured that they are ready to face any complaint.
Hindi lahat ng member ng ACT are supporting the left. Kaya kailangan makita kung sino talaga ang sumusuporta in their organization. If they can file a case, we can always file counter charges also.
Meanwhile, one of the suspects in the bombing incident on Southeast Mall in Cotabato City is now under police custody. Police Regional Office 12 says Salipudin Pasandalanan was turned in by his relatives after they saw his image on television as among the persons implicated in the blast on December 31st, 2018 that killed 2 people. Authorities believe their evidence against Pasandalan are strong based on investigation results, despite his refusal to speak about his involvement in the incident. Police are still looking into several possible angles in the blast, including the retaliation of the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighter after Pasandalan's brother was killed in a military operation in December 27, intense political rivalry, and the participation of Dawla Islamiyah group in the bombing.
Wala pa tayong nakikitang grupo kasi malalaman natin yung who is behind, yung personalities, and what group is behind kapag meron na tayong nakuhang tao at meron na siyang binanggit na personalities and group. Kung makikita niyo rito sa kuha dito sa Lotto Outlet, siya yung kumo-cover dito sa bata. Siya yung magkatabi, siya yung kumo-cover habang nilalagay nung nakabackpack yung second IED dito sa shelf ng Lotto card.
The National Police Commission or NAPOLCOM revoked the deputation and police power of Daraga Albay Mayor Carlwin Baldo after he was implicated in the killing of Ako Bicol Party List Representative Rodel Batucabe and his police aide SPO2 Orlando Diaz. According to NAPOLCOM, Baldo violated 3 of the 4 protocols along with the said police power. These include abuse of authority, supporting a criminal, and participation in activities that will jeopardize national security and peace and order.
Overall supervision doon sa PNP. So dahil nawala na siya ng administrative control and operational supervision, hindi na siya pwedeng mag-direct, hindi niya na pwedeng sabihan, utusan yung PNP. And nawala na rin even yung authority niya magbigay ng disiplina na binibigay ng NAPOLCOM sa kanya bilang mayor. At pangalawa pati yung authority niyang pumili ng chief of police.
Meanwhile, the Batucabe family has chosen a substitute candidate for the late congressman, but they choose not to reveal who the person is at this time. Batucabe was eyeing the mayoral seat of Daraga in the midterm elections prior to his assassination. And for the news abroad, here's Kath Dumaraos live from Bangkok, Thailand. Kath, good evening.
Good evening, William. Thailand government assures the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees that the teenager allegedly fleeing abuse from her family in Kuwait would not be expelled to any country while her request for refugee status is being processed. This report tells us why. An 18-year-old Saudi woman who fled her family and barricaded herself inside a Bangkok airport hotel to prevent being expelled by Thai authorities has left the airport after talks with the United Nations Refugee Agency. Rahaf Mohammed Al Kunun has been at Bangkok's international airport since Saturday when she arrived from Kuwait, saying she fears her family will kill her if she is forced to return home. Her relatives have not commented on her accusations of abuse. Thai immigration officials had planned to put Kunun on a flight back to Kuwait on Monday, but relented after her online pleas drew international attention. Thailand immigration said the UNHCR would work on processing Kunun's request for refugee status. Giuseppe De Vincentis, the UNHCR representative in Thailand, said the Thai government had given assurances Kunun would not be expelled to any country where she might be in danger while her case was being processed.
We have strongly advocated with the Thai government and we have received reassurances that pending the completion of the assessment and any decision, she would not be sent back because that would be a case of refoulement, and where her personal freedom could be put at risk. So that was the first priority and for our advocacy.
UNHCR consistently advocates for the principle of non-refoulement, which states that anyone confirmed or claiming to be in need of international protection cannot be returned to a territory where their life or freedom are threatened. This principle is recognized as customary international law and is also enshrined in Thailand's other treaty obligations, according to UNHCR. Thailand is not a party to the 1951 UN Refugee Convention or its 1967 protocol defining the status of refugees. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue, Bangkok, Thailand. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has arrived in Beijing for an unannounced visit at the invitation of Chinese President Xi Jinping. Kim will be in China until January 10 with his wife Ri Sol-ju, according to state media reports. The visit comes amid reports that negotiations are underway for a second summit between Kim and U.S. President Donald Trump. The two met last June, the first such meeting for a sitting U.S. president. President Donald Trump announced on Monday he would make a primetime address and visit the U.S.-Mexico border this week as the partial federal government shutdown entered its 17th day after a funding impasse over his demand for money to build a border wall. The moves indicate the Republican president has no intention of backing off his pledge to build a wall that he believes will stem illegal immigration and drug trafficking. Democrats in Congress say a wall would be expensive, inefficient, and immoral. Trump planned to visit the U.S.-Mexico border on Thursday, White House spokesman Sarah Sanders announced on Twitter, without providing details. The visit will likely highlight security concerns pushed by the administration as justification for the wall. The government of Gabon in Central Africa assures it has foiled a coup attempt announced by a group of soldiers on state television. Meanwhile, World Bank Group President Jim Yong Kim is planning to step down from office 3 years ahead of his term's expiration. Beverly Saison tells us why.
In Gabon, security forces of Gabon, Central Africa killed 2 suspects and captured others in a failed coup attempt on Monday. Government spokesperson Guy Bertrand Mapangu said 7 of the plotters were arrested after they seized control of the national radio station early on Monday morning and broadcast a message saying that President Ali Bongo was no longer fit for office. In a radio message, Lieutenant Kelly Ondong Obiang, who described himself as an officer in the Republican Guard, said Bongo's New Year's Eve address reinforced doubts about the president's ability to continue to carry out the responsibilities of his office. Most of the beachside capital was quiet, however, and a government spokesman said the situation was under control after the arrest. Residents said internet access was cut. In Guatemala, the government is planning to withdraw from an unbacked anti-corruption commission which has been investigating the country's president Jimmy Morales. Guatemalan Foreign Minister Sandra Jovel said on Monday that the body had 24 hours to leave the country. She said Morales would continue the fight against corruption, but that there had been a misunderstanding about the investigations into his affairs. The mandate of the International Commission Against Impunity in Guatemala, or CICIG, has helped prosecutors bring cases against dozens of senior officials and executives. However, when Morales became the subject of its investigations, the president said he would review its mandate. And in USA, World Bank Group President Jim Yong Kim will resign effectively February 1st, more than 3 years ahead of his term's expiration. Kim, 59, a physician and public health advocate, was nominated by former U.S. President Barack Obama for a first and second term. Kim had pushed financing for green energy projects and largely dropped support for coal power investments, but had avoided public clashes with the Trump administration. Two people familiar with Kim's announcement to the World Bank Executive Board said he was leaving of his own accord and was not pushed out by the Trump administration. Beverly Sison, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the news from the other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Kath Dumaraos, live from Bangkok, Thailand. Visitors in North China get amazed over a large-scale, extraordinary formation of glauber salt crystals in an inland lake in Shaanxi province. Leslie Longbowen tells us why.
Glauber salt crystals created by the winter chill along the Yuncheng Salt Lake in North China's Shaanxi province has recently attracted a large number of visitors and amateur photographers keen to snap up the view. Located under the Zhongchao Mountain, the Salt Lake covers a total area of 132 square kilometers. The glauber salt crystals have formed in various shapes, with some appearing like blooming roses, while others make the outlines of animals, which each cluster creating a unique surprise for those who come to examine them. Many local residents and photographers have been amazed by the extraordinary scenery and have been taking photos to record the special moments with their family.
The Salt Lake is a gift from nature. Today we want to take our children to take photos as a souvenir. I hope that when they grow up and come here, the ecological environment will be more beautiful and the scenery will be better.
The glauber salt crystals on the Salt Lake are a unique physical phenomenon created under certain weather conditions. With a temperature of -5 degrees Celsius, the magnesium sulfate will attach itself to reeds, branches, stones, and other objects in the frozen Salt Lake and form the various shapes of the crystals. The Yuncheng Salt Lake is one of the 3 great sodium sulfate inland salt lakes in the world. The other 2 are the Great Salt Lake in the U.S. state of Utah and Lake Kutchuk in Russia's Siberia. Leslie Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news, January 8, 2019. On behalf of Rheena, Villamor-Camara, and Angelo, Castro III. I am William Thio. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.